Hello, folks. I saw a question the other day on how could I get this column here, D, to get a check mark in there if I pay these bills. I got all these bills here, and if I pay a bill, I want a check mark to show up here, and I may not do it in this sequence of rent, internet, electric, gas, and so forth. So let's take a look at how this works. First of all, I'll point out that what I've done here is done a data validation so that I can do this from a range. So if I were to add expenses here, all of these expenses would pop in here, and those could actually all be color coded if you wanted to. But that's how I'm getting these drop-down menus. Made it easier than typing in the name of the expense that I've just paid. So I have those as a drop-down, and that's a dynamic list because it's from this range F3 to F12. So notice if I add, apply to this range, it's A3A. So if I were to add another category, say for instance, TV or something, notice then I would end up, let's say, done to this, but notice on my drop down, I have TV dynamically added. So that's the first part. But let's see what happens if let's go ahead and make a payment, say, to medical. So what I was wanting to have happen is I wanted to get this checkbox in there. So let's see how we're doing that. These three cells that are yellow are where my formulas are in this example. So here's how we're doing this. We're doing an array literal. Let me zoom in a little bit. Array literal using the curly bracket so that I can get the name of the column in there using this type of syntax. So I'm going to name the column paid, and then I have an array formula. If is number a match, and the match is, I'm looking to find a match between A3A, so that would be A3A, and F3F. So if I find something in F that is matching A, and that would give me a number. Let's see how that actually works. So let's grab this match function that I've got here. Let me go ahead and copy that. And let's go ahead and paste this match function here and add an equal sign in front of it. And you're not going to get anything there because it didn't find rent in my match. But if I did this as an array formula, Command Shift return get in here, Command Shift enter on a Mac, and then hit enter. Now notice this word medical is a match, and it's the first match that we found there. If I went ahead and added rent now, rent would be the second match that it found. If you reverse this and you went rent here and you put medical here, those would reverse themselves. But that's how the match is working. And notice, if there is a match, you get a number. So what we're using that function to go, if it is a number, then we're going to go ahead and put the check mark, otherwise it's blank. And of course, then we're applying that with an array formula. So that's how we're getting a real quick way to get a check mark into a box by getting a match between these two names. Again, if I chose electric, then my electric is going to show. Now the second part that I did here is I am getting the amount because I'm assuming that I'm paying my bills in the amount that they're due. So here's my amount of the bill, and in order to get this amount here, I am using a VLOOKUP. And the way I'm doing this again is with an array literal. So I'm saying the amount, which is a curly bracket, amount in quotation, semicolon, and then I'm saying if NA, and the reason I'm doing that is if I don't have if is NA, then I'm going to get, these are all going to fill with NAs if there's no match. But then I'm simply doing a VLOOKUP. I'm looking up what's in F, and then I'm looking over here from A to be. And if I find a match in the VLOOKUP, I want column 2 an exact match. So I'm getting the amount of money that's owed. I'm assuming when you build something like this that you're going to put the date paid in here. So these are simply dates that I would put in. I copied those down so I could simply go ahead and click the calendar and make a change on my date. My next step then is I want to get this date paid. So again, same thing, array literal, date paid, if NA, and this time I've just modified the VLOOKUP. I'm saying, okay, let's look up A3A, let's look up this word, and if I find that, let's come over here and get column 3 and bring my date paid here. So if I come in here and my next bill that I end up paying is TV, there I go, I got TV, there's no amount there. Let's say the TV was $25, and now you can see I got my $25. So again, just a quick way to get a sort of a fancy way to get a checkbox if a bill has been paid.